Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Melanated Television. My name is Vanessa XIX. Tonight, I'm just going to get straight into it. I want to talk about my Nipsey Hussle theory. The reason I believe this theory is important is because we have to pay attention to the bigger things than earthly matters. We have to think about spiritual matters. And I would just say he passed away 2 years ago, Nipsey Hussle, Armius. He passed away 2 years ago, and he did say to us, if something happened to him, we better ride. I don't think nobody's riding. Nobody's fighting for just justice for this life that was taken. It seems that when we harm one another, we don't fight for justice as hard as we should. Period. When a white man, when police kill us, we all in it. We fighting whatever. We can do that victim card. That victim card definitely gets us. And I'm not gonna say victim because we are victims. We are victims. But sometimes we use those narratives, and we should also use those same narratives when we kill one another. That's all I'm saying. Yes, Black people, we are victims. I'm not saying that we're not. We have been victimized, and we are always victimized. But all I'm saying that we're victims to one another too. So let's talk about Nipsey Hussle theory. Nipsey Hussle, Armius. I can't pronounce his last name 100%, so I'm not going to say it. But all in all, Nipsey Hussle was someone who basically, I believe, was it. He was it. Over all these rappers, over all these entertainers, he was, to me, the chosen one. He was the truly anointed one. So I say this because I don't believe Nipsey Hussle's death was because of a result of COINTELPRO. I do believe, it was due to, an African American killing another African American. But I don't even believe that. I think it was just it was kind of a divine order in why this happened. He died when he was 33, like Jesus Christ did. I think that Nipsey was a descendant of Jesus Christ. If you look at where his father is from, Eritrea, in Africa, in East Africa, his father was someone who believes in Yahweh and Yeshua. His father was a lover of the faith. Now, I'm going to touch on Black spirituality and Christianity because a lot of us, when we hear Christianity, we hear white, or we just hear white supremacy. So we already turn our ear to it. But Nipsey was someone who was in the faith. If you believe it or not, he was. He loved the Lord. He had a song called Right Hand to God. He had a song, he said, right hand to God, right hand to Jesus. You know what I'm saying? He's proclaiming these names in his music because that is who he is. That is whose he is. It says you can tell who the children are. You can tell who the parent, or you can tell who the father of humans is. And I'm not even talking about physically, but spiritually, you can tell who someone belongs to by what they say, by what they do, by their mentality. Now, I think that Nipsey was killed because he was bringing light. He was bringing a light that nobody really else was bringing. He was bringing truth and wisdom. He was the liberation. He was going to help with the liberation of our people. Everybody else was trying, but he was actually doing. He was creating facilities. He was creating schools for our children, music, technology schools. This man built a computer. Come on now. He was a man from the hood, a rolling 60s crib, ended up building a computer. That's because he was a rose, in the concrete. He was that diamond in the rough, like many of us are. So I just believe that Nipsey was here through God's divine order. I believe Nipsey was a descendant of Jesus Christ. I believe that was his bloodline. I say that because if you look at geographically where his father is from, if you look at the spirit of this person, of the wisdom of how they moved, because Jesus hung around gamblers and prostitutes and tax collectors. I mean, one of his homies turned on him. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't hang around perfect people, but he did minister to these people because he knew they needed that. He knew that the holy and thou, they're not going to hurt. They're going to think they got it all. But he knows that there's going to be people who's going to need what he has to give. And it ain't those who already got it. So yes, Nipsey was killed because he was bringing a light to the world. And this was just the physical way of killing that light. And that was having someone in your community kill you out. It was having a Judas. This was the same thing. You know, we've had many of Judases come about in our community. We had with Fred Hampton, his killer. We had with Nipsey Hussle. We had with Jesus Christ. We even had with Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam. They killed him out. When he started seeking the truth and finding the truth, he was killed out by his own people. Yes, I do believe the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm X because at a point in time, I believe it could have been a form of a cult because people who are in cults are extremely brainwashed and they worship man and not the creator. So when you attack man, they're so loyal to man and not themselves that they will fight and kill in the name of not being able to lead yourself and letting truly your creator, your God, guide you into what's right. So that is my theory with Nipsey. Rest in peace to Nipsey. I believe, like I was saying, he was killed because of a divine order, because he was bringing light. He was bringing God back to his people. He was bringing his people back to God. And the devil wasn't having that. Not no COINTELPRO had anything to do with this. This was a weak vessel, and it killed out that light. Because darkness can kill out light. It can. But it takes light to continue to persevere, and it continue to, like a fire, to ignite. When this goes out, that little bit of light is still lit, and let it spread and let it influence, other people. Keep that truth, keep that light, keep that faith, keep that wisdom alive. And I just say this to our people because there will be many more people who will try to come in light, and we will have to protect our people through the enemy, not through flesh and blood. What's to say? We don't battle with flesh and blood, but it's with principalities, it's with wickedness in high places, with spirits. It's not about flesh and blood, it's a spiritual battle. So yes, we are going to continue to fight. And if you let the physical, if you are always deceived by the physical, you will never be able to get into the spiritual, because the spiritual was here before the physical. So yes, we have to protect our light, we have to protect truth, we have to protect wisdom. And I believe that this was God's, this was Jesus, this was God coming back, and it was killed out. So that was my Nipsey Hussle theory. I hope everyone has a blessed night, a wonderful night, a good night, and God bless.